What's up, guys? It's Lisa from Linguist Rising. Today, we're going to talk about why I study languages and why you should too. And we're going to be specific. So, I'm studying Spanish. Spanish was a language I spent 2 years taking in high school for that mandatory language requirement many of us have or had. I would love to know from my viewers, is language still a requirement in high school? Because I have no idea, because I graduated in the year 2000. Y2K, baby. I am studying Spanish for multiple reasons. I am studying it because I want to become more fluent. One of my current day jobs is being a paramedic, and in the last 2 years I've spoken Spanish more at work than in the prior 21 years. And there are times it's critically important to go beyond the bad grammar patient assessments I currently have without wanting to delay or even try to use the limited translation resources we have in the field. The hospitals have little rolling robots that can connect to a medical interpreter. We do not have that. We have a very slow language line, so most of us use our own skills or Siri if we don't have family around and available to help us translate. So that is one reason. Additionally, as I'm starting the MAT SALT program, I am excited to become more fluent in Spanish because that's the most common second language in my area, and I feel that my job prospects would go up significantly as a professor of ESL in the community college. I think they would go up tremendously by improving my Spanish speaking skills, and it would also help me be a better teacher and communicate with my students when appropriate more effective. Sometimes people will want to ask a question during an ESL class, and they may not have any English skills that are available to ask the specific question. So being able to speak Spanish more fluently and eventually fluently, I think is going to be awesome. And then just in general, to be a better, for language learning purposes, for fun, to master a language. The next language I ever studied was Italian. That is the second language I'm studying, and that's my more fun language, I'll be honest. I use it the least in the United States just due to the area I'm in. In 2011, I started studying Italian because I wanted to learn a different language and not just do Spanish or French, which was kind of common. So I picked up this Rosetta Stone kit with a bunch of CDs or DVDs, and I was like, wow, I'm picking this up really fast. This is great. I aspired to travel to Italy someday, and never have had the chance or opportunity yet. I studied that for part of a year and then dropped it until 2021 when I picked up that app again, as well as Duolingo and several other online resources. Then in the town I live in, I picked up an online Italian class, and it wasn't even very good. The instructor was impatient. She was not a great teacher, just her demeanor. So then I tried another program, and it was similar. The instructor wasn't all that patient. I think she might have been actually in Italy instead of the town that the program was based out of. Finally, the third and fourth institutions I tried, one was an adult school, and one was an Italian, a cultural museum that offered language classes, offering Zoom classes. Both of those teachers were phenomenal. One was a lady, one was a man. The lady worked at the adult school for quite some time. The man was also a community college language professor, which totally makes sense after having his classes. And I had a great time, and I progressed. I bought lots of books, too many books, flashcards, probably too many flashcards, all sorts of things like that. And I had a great time studying and learning. And then the game changer was really speaking with native speakers on sites like italki. I found out how much I didn't know when I tried to converse. And I had tutors in Italy in different areas giving me practical, real-world advice. And with things like italki, I teach English on italki. But as many of you students know who have experience with this, you may have to go through several teachers to find the right one. Thirdly, I picked up Arabic through a community college. I have not found a good private resource yet as far as online classes. I would love it. And that was because when I thought to myself I would like to start studying an additional language, Mandarin and Arabic seemed the most practical as far as living in the United States still, an amount of language speakers. So due to my interest in the culture and some of my studies in ethnic studies for my bachelor's program, I decided to start learning Arabic. And so I dabbled, but I did not finish, in a couple of language classes. And then due to scheduling and all the excuses and reasons we all have, I didn't finish. I can basically introduce myself. Alan wa salan, ana ismi Lisa, Fi, California, like really basic shukran. So I'm starting again. My goal is to become fluent in all of these languages. I'm not limiting myself to 3, but I want quality over quantity. So that is for personal enrichment, mastering a language, learning a new script. That was one of the hardest parts in my early Arabic study, was writing. Reading right to left and writing in a new script was very challenging, but fun and fulfilling. I feel like I pick up the verbal part well. The writing will be a greater challenge, but I would like to be more well-rounded, more worldly, more culturally aware and sensitive, all of that sort of stuff. So those are my most basic reasons. I would love to get good enough to eventually teach all of these, which, you know, I have all of life to continue to improve and get better. Why you should study any of these languages or some other languages for all of these reasons and more. Learning a language can bring you friends, understanding, like with current world events in the US, learning about different cultures and languages really might change your viewpoint, even politically. Just throwing it out there. And comment below if you agree or disagree. Tell me what you're studying or what you might study. The bottom line is, don't be scared. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of sounding stupid or not knowing, because everybody I've interacted with has been super receptive to a new language learner. It's fun. It can make you happy. It can make you smarter. It can get you career opportunities. The possibilities are endless. So I think everyone should pick a language and start studying, because it's good for you. It really is. It's good for your brain, your mental health, happiness. Again, just so many, I'm being super disorganized, but like endless, bountiful reasons you can read books in other languages, consume content in other languages without the subtitles eventually. Don't wait, start today. Comment below, and if you have questions, leave those below too. This is Lisa from Linguist Rising. Thanks for watching.